10 a.m. Oh, I read it. We're being recorded now. Excellent. So to begin, I would like to acknowledge that today's meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Wisconsin First Nations. And with that, I would like just a motion to adopt today's agenda. Someone fire their hand up there. Marvelous. Thank you. And also a motion to adopt the October 20 meeting minutes if there's no errors or omissions. All marvelous. Thank you very much. I don't anticipate today will be too long a meeting. We're going to run through some old business and then we'll talk about two kind of very topical new issues and then open it up to a roundtable. So as we go through our old business, our United Nations application is remaining in progress. So we're doing well there. And I know that we did have another meeting with the CRD and the various stakeholders in respect to our emergency drinking water kind of program, for lack of a better term, a long range program. I did not attend. I know that Deputy Chief Harmon kind of peripherally attended. I don't know, Bruce, if you wanted to chime in and give us a kind of a Coles Notes version of if there was anything profound coming out of that second meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Yeah, the second meeting is just sort of more of a kickoff, providing some background on what where the CRD is at with it. So yeah, nothing profound. Still getting underway with that working group.
Well, nothing profound from the CRD. All right, we'll leave that alone. Our HRVA refresh that is scheduled for 2022. So we'll get going with that. I'll pass it over to Deputy Harmon just in respect to an update on invoicing, where we are for the cooling centers and our heat response invoicing, as well as wildfire invoicing. We'll throw those two together.
All right, thanks, Chief. Yeah, the invoicing for the heat response, although it was a small claim, was submitted by Finance. EMBC has received it, but we have not received any money to date. And with respect to the wildfires, the first two areas of deployment were submitted, and we received full payment for those, a little over 80,000. And we still have about 140,000 outstanding from the longer deployment from the later part of July into August. So they have been received. Wildfire did look over them with Kathy, and they've been submitted for payment. So we're obviously in the queue, but with the current disaster in Abbotsford and around the province, I think we can expect to wait a little bit longer until we see those funds.
Thanks, Mike. And while we have you there, if you want to give just an update on our evacuation route planning project.
Yes, I've been working on evacuation route planning with Jim Lamort. He's reached out to many of our staff around the town. Just reviewing a draft plan with Jim now, which hopefully we'll have finalized it early in the new year, and then we'll submit those costs to UBCM to complete our grant application for full reimbursement.
Excellent. We like the words reimbursement in full. That keeps Andrew happy, so that's good. So quick update on our senior care facilities. We do have confirmation that all residents, probably well over 1,000 folks have received their booster shots. So they are, under the new kind of lexicon, fully vaccinated, at least what the definition is as of today. And staff there is no specific mandate yet for staff working in these facilities, but they are in the queue for their booster shots as well. So that's where we are with the senior care facilities. And I just wanted to go through the meeting minutes from October. Are there any topics or any concerns arising from that before we jump into new business? Marvelous. So the first thing we'll go on into is jump into the vaccine clinic that has been reestablished at the Mary Winspear Center. It's a good thing. It's going to be open. It's open, I believe, 7 days a week now, or when they have staff, and then after January 8th. Don't quote me on these dates. I'm going off of memory when I spoke to the head nurse. It'll be Tuesday to Saturday. and Fridays and Saturdays will be child specific. So there'll be bookings for children age 5 to 11. The scary thing is, Sandy, is there's a good chance that, you know, if your children are coming, I might be vaccinating them, so that, you know, that's the scary thing. So they have asked that Sydney Fire participate and take the add-on course to our first responder paramedic licenses to aid with vaccinations. They did have to close one day unexpectedly due to staffing shortages. And we have to remember that, you know, these vaccination clinics are primarily utilizing nursing staff that were taken off floors and wards that were doing, whether it's community nursing or nursing in the hospital. So it's a bit of kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. They need to go back, you know, and fill other roles in the healthcare system. So we will be doing our best to do the online training and the practicum component over the next couple of weeks, so we can help participate in our off hours or off days to allow our staff to kind of bolster that and help and assist with keeping that Vax clinic open. They do state that it'll be open till at least June or July, and that's I mean, it's such an evolving process, but that's where it is right now. Any questions on that?
Brad, do you know
Saturday
the,
at 2, are you going to be there?
Sorry, Sandy?
Saturday at 2, are you going to be there?
I'm not that far along in my
Oh.
training yet, so your children are safe. Yeah, go ahead there, Wayne.
oh, just wondering, is it like by appointment or is it open for just drop in? And do you know anything about the times of day that they're open?
I believe it's by appointment, and again, so it's one of the many files on my desk. I believe all the days will be from 11 till 7. So it starts at 11 and then it'll go to 7 p.m. and that seems to be fairly consistent. Speaking with Monica, who was the head nurse and was also the lead nurse on the previous Vax clinic, was at Mary Winsper, which is great from a continuity perspective. It remains very fluid. You know, we can say the hours will be 11 till 7, but if their staff and their need is there, I would expect that they would alter those things. But as for now, it seems to be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. I believe it's 7 days a week now, but after January, I believe 8th, it'll go to Tuesday to Saturday.
Thank you.
Yes, Councillor O'Keefe.
Thanks, Chief. Hey, so does the town get reimbursed for the staff that participate in that?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
the way it works is the town, we sign an agreement with VHA, and the town pays our staff whatever hourly rate that they're provided on a regular basis. And much like the Office of the Fire Commissioner, when we do wildfire deployments, the town invoices VHA for those costs and be reimbursed. And
Okay.
that's also applicable for the training time. The only caveat is that when staff are attached or committed to the vaccine clinic, they are not, you know, they're not free to run away to go to a fire. So that's the only, it's not the end of the world, but obviously it's strictly after hours or off duty participation.
Okay, so we wouldn't be in a position where we'd have to pay overtime to other people to cover off for that.
That's correct. That's correct. And we wouldn't schedule it that way. You know, again, speaking with the nurse there, I think there's going to be lots of opportunity, and they're quite flexible. Even if we were going over there from 4 till 7 or altered our hours a little bit to kind of bolster their capacity, or on Saturdays, I see will be our primary contribution, but they're very happy to have it. And Victoria Fire Department is also going to be participating at this clinic as well.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? All right, so this is going quick, which is always a good thing. I did send out a note early this month, some engineering and a few other folks just concerned that with the recent atmospheric river events that we've had, and it looks like the long range forecasts are showing an extended cold front over southern Vancouver Island or over the whole lower mainland area or southern BC. There is the potential for snowfall events that just what we need. So we did do some business continuity planning on our end and worked with Public Works to get an inventory of snow clearing apparatus and staff and fuel and a bunch of other things like that. And just in preparation that, you know, if there is a concern or a weather warning, we will be standing up a emergency operations center, you know, proactively, just so we can prioritize and work with, you know, our partners, whether it's emergency support services or the RCMP, and obviously Public Works, so we can prioritize and ensure that we're adequately staffed and that, you know, critical routes and roads are cleared and de-iced as we see necessary to, you know, facilitate emergency services. So that work's been done. We'll continue to, hopefully we don't have to go down that road, but we have done the legwork there. Of a worst case scenario does happen based on some of the potentially forecasted weather events over the next couple of weeks. Any questions with that? Yes, Councillor O'Keefe.
I was just wondering with that fuel shortage, I know that they gave priority at gas stations for municipal and emergency vehicles, I presume. Do we also have our own sort of stock of fuel as well?
Yes, we do. That was one of the very first things that obviously we looked into. We have our own stock of gasoline as well as diesel at Public Works.
Okay.
We require the emergency management group here at the town requires the Public Works staff never let that go below 1/2 full, preferably 2/3 for obvious reasons. And also with a lot of our supplier agreements that we've done from a business continuity perspective, and Deputy Harmon has done a great job. We've also have a relationship with Columbia Fuels, correct me if I'm wrong, at the card lock, which is given priority to town vehicles and emergency services. And I know that the RCMP were using that during this kind of 30-liter or $50 restriction period. So we're quite well looked after in the town from that perspective.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
Brad, do you have any idea when is there any update on the restrictions for fuel, when that might be changing? Have you heard anything?
I thought I heard something the other day that it was coming off in the next week or so. Again, it's not applicable to us in a working capacity. You know, I want all of our vehicles topped up daily for obvious reasons, but I believe for kind of the general public, it's coming to an end this week. So
I think our officers I'll check with them today. I think they still are fueling up at the card lock as far as I know until the restrictions are lifted, but this agenda item prompted me to follow up on that, see where we're at.
Well, good stuff. And again, Deputy Harmon is your card lock go-to person, so you know where to find him. Yeah, it's great.
So restrictions are lifted as of yesterday.
There you go. And until the next crisis, but that's good news. So I can, if the grass would grow. What? Sorry, Andrew?
Never mind.
All right. I guess the last item we have is obviously, we spoke a bit about it yesterday, and some senior staff, is just it seems COVID never goes away. And this new Omicron variant, who seems to be, wasn't an issue, it was seemingly an issue, but now it's very much becoming an issue here. Mike and I participated in some calls yesterday with VHA and the province. And it's, you know, the modeling is pretty scary in some ways. It's at least 1.5 times more transmissible than the Delta variant. So that's much more concerning. It's a lot easier to get. They're forecasting, or the modeling, if it continues at the rate that we're seeing it right now, we'll be looking at 2,000 cases a day in British Columbia. And that will show our hospitals above capacity, including beds and ICUs at the end of January. So obviously we're a ways away from that. We don't, obviously that's a worst case scenario, but that's what the modeling is showing. So obviously that's very concerning. The federal government has not come out like the UK government or South Africa and formally stated that this variant is less dangerous, but all the data that we've seen so far is that, this mutation, as these viruses mutate, they become typically less, less deadly, for lack of a better term. So we're seeing a lot of transmission or community transmission that is completely asymptomatic. And you probably, the best indicator of that is that every 2 minutes, if you follow sports, you see another 10 hockey players and 5 basketball players that are in COVID protocol. These are the folks that are being tested daily, and they're fully vaccinated. So that is obviously a concern. So I wouldn't, that's going to be the same in our cohort or our community as well. The good news is that it's not as, with especially being vaccinated, you're likely to be asymptomatic. You're not going to have a fever. You might just have the sniffles. The concern is that when, testing or these things do come into play, how will that affect the town's business continuity? If we have a number of people, the isolation periods remain in effect and the same. So that is a concern and something we definitely need to look at. Had a long chat with Jim Lamort first thing this morning. And we're going to look at and probably speak with Randy a bit later today, but just from a perspective of gathering information and doing a bit of a potential impact assessment on the town and our ability to conduct business, we may look at formally, reestablishing a level 1 EOC to really look at and invest time in how we would respond to this, just so we're not being completely reactive. I think we've been doing this long enough to know that we invest the time up front. We'll be much better prepared for a worst case scenario. So we're looking at that. We're gathering a bunch of information. We're doing that anyways, but kind of making the formal declaration and investing that time is not I don't believe is a bad thing. So I'd open it up if there's any questions or comments on that, but that's kind of what we're following all off the corner of our desk here. So I'll open it up if there's any questions or comments. Mr. Humble.
Hi, Brett. Has there been any discussion amongst the other emergency coordinators within the region about establishing level 1 EOCs?
There definitely has been. As you're aware, there's always hesitation to be the first. So I don't believe anyone has formally done it yet. I wouldn't be shocked by the end of the day that it happened. For example, there's likely going to be some information coming out today from the federal government revising travel and a number of things like that. So it's just a matter of time. I know Alberta, who is very slow to kind of, adapt, is now kind of almost leading, and they're mandating no more than 10 people in a household. You all have to be fully vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So that's why I just wanted to kind of broach it with this group, saying it's pretty much an inevitability. And again, it's simply for information gathering and, investing the time to do the impact assessments for our ability to provide services over the next 3 to 5 to 6 weeks. So that's where we're at.
I'm a bit conflicted, in the sense that, the province, certainly what I heard yesterday from the Bonnie Henry's, speaking to the community, that she's indicated there'll be no additional restrictions that they're looking at through the province over the holidays. So yeah, as I said, I'm a bit conflicted. I mean, there's mixed messaging and around this, and we're looking at moving into the holidays. We're certainly going to have less staff here, you know, at the town hall anyways, as we go through the holidays. But anyways, we can certainly discuss it later on. I'm curious to hear what maybe Jim has to say as well. But yeah, I'm just not, I'm not 100% there yet. So we'll have to wait and see.
No, and I totally understand, and I feel the same as well, in a lot of ways. And again, I think that the messaging is that we're gathering information and we're doing an impact assessment in preparation for. That's what a level 1 EOC does. We're not in a response posture yet, but we do know, having done this for almost 2 years, that if we wait and have to do it reactively, we'll be definitely kind of behind the power curve. So, and you know, we follow the province a bunch, but you know, the province would be the first to put their hand up and say that they could have reacted aggressively and done a bunch of things differently as well. So yeah, someone has to lead. And we'll, like I said, I just wanted to kind of broach it amongst this group, and that's something that we're looking at anyways. And that was the recommendation of Jim Lamort, and we'll definitely circle back with him perhaps later today, and yourself, Randy, just to get an idea about what the best steps are forward.
Yeah, you know, and I'm fine leading, but it's the province ultimately that makes the decisions around the restrictions and everything else.
Absolutely.
You know, they need to, you know, yeah, I mean, I could say a lot about, you know, them having to step up and lead in a different way as well. But I think puts a lot on local government. I think it's putting a lot on local government employees, and yeah, it just doesn't sit well with me, to be honest.
No, I totally understand. Again, it's a local, it would just be for, you know, information and impact assessment purposes. It's not for, we're not in a response posture. It's not something that we would be recouping funding for. It's more just an awareness internally that we would be
Unlike
prepared.
people doing their jobs is what it sounds like.
Sorry, yeah, it is in a lot of ways. But again, it allows us to have a little bit more of a focus. But again, I'm just passing on what the emergency management experts are advising us. Just take it for what it's worth.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah. So there you go. Any other questions or comments? Nothing. Everyone smiley, happy people. Well, good stuff. That's a short meeting, but we like that. Happy holidays to everybody, and we will send out a note to everybody, notification of our first meeting of 2022. Thanks very much.
Sounds good, Brett. Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.